I'm David from M.A.A.C and cinema.com. It's so great to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, man. How's it going?
Awesome, awesome, doing great. Excellent work on this movie, by the way. Loved it, loved it.
Very much.
Just to start off, I mean, there's been four films in this franchise, and you know, I was thinking like, how are these guys gonna come up with something fresh for this film? And then you guys brought up, the whole flamethrower thing, which was excellent. Can you give me like your thought process on getting, how do you come up with that idea and the whole sequence?
Well, I mean, thankfully, some of it's in the script. We have, like it's scripted out, and it's like, okay, we do that, and then we go and look at different locations and see different locations and look at the way fire reacts to different environments, and you start piecing together ideas in prep. So that starts giving you different pieces of it, and then it's through different inputs and different testing. We brought Jason Domenico from Action Factory out with us to do that sequence, who just won an Academy Award, a Science Academy Award for the gel he's developed. So that bringing like the best. I mean, with the John Wicks, we try to bring the best. We've got the best drivers, the best fighters, and call on Jason because his gels and that technology and the amount of research he's done into fire gives us the ability to do all of that practically and to go longer and to go harder and to go brighter and to do more. I think we did close to 200 fire burns
Wow,
over
wow.
that sequence. Yeah.
So was that like 100% practical?
Yeah. I'm not going to say, I mean, there's some VFX elements in there, but when it comes to the burns, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's all. We burnt all those. That's a real flamethrower,
Hmm.
uh, with real people in there.
Wow.
Yeah, doing it. And obviously we build up to that. We build up distances and we build up times and we build up the abilities and the comfortability of everyone. We have safety procedures in place. And we have crews that are there to put people out, and everyone has a specific job. But that gives us the ability we have with filming these films like Lionsgate and 87. They give us the time to be able to prep these sequences so we can do really cool stuff, which is cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, besides the flamethrower, I mean, this film have you guys. There's so many different type of weapons that you guys played with. We got the grenades, you got the ice skates, the samurai sword.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite to work with as far as the weapons?
You know what? When we were talking with Len, and he's like, ice skates.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if many people know about Len. Like Len comes from a props world. Like Len started out, if you look at the credits for Stargate, Len's
Uh-huh.
in there in the props department, right?
Oh wow.
Um, so Len comes from a props world, so he's very hands-on and he's very much part of like, what are these cool things that we can use? And you know, we're obviously in ice and snow and things like that. And he's like, I really want to use ice skates. So it's like, well, then we start playing, buy a pair of ice skates. We go in, we start playing with what are the things we can do with a pair of ice skates. We can kind of use them as take that like nunchuck and use them as like a nunchuck, put them on your wrist, use them, we can do
Uh-huh.
different things with them, you can block, you can punch, you can parry, you can trap with them. And so we just have fun playing with that. I mean, we're big kids, right? In a big
Right.
workshop, essentially, and just get to kind of play out all these ideas, and some things work and some things don't, and we put them together and form those sequences. But they're definitely playing with the ice skates was my favorite.
That's awesome. And I love the whole sequence with the grenades as well. Like,
Yeah.
all of our enemies had guns. You only have grenades. So how did you come up with that idea? I mean, that was awesome.
Again, like Len came up, he's like, what if we have, like this, like she can only use these big concussive things? Because then you take something like grenades, which if you're in an open field, that's one thing, but it's like, okay, now how do we make it dangerous for her? Okay, we put her in a contained space.
Hmm.
So you take these, so now she has to kind of be careful of where we're using these grenades, because if you use too many, you've got the concussive force, you've got smoke, you've got cramped environments, you got these cool things that like we do it as a oneer. So that actually where she closes the door, where she hits the guy with the grenade,
Right, right.
pushes in, closes the door, gets shot at, opens the door. That's all one shot.
Wow.
Like, so we designed it so that there was a hole in the wall that gets like kind of VFX covered up, but he can go out through that door, disappear, and she can go in and go through all in that one. So we had again a lot of fun developing that sequence, but it makes you get to play because obviously with the Wicks, there's a lot of gun work, and in
Uh-huh.
that world, there's a lot of gun work. But now we're having to think about, okay, how do we make this work? It's kind of like if we're throwing grenades around. What do we do? Yep.
That's awesome, man. And with grenades and guns and all that, but then I also like the hand-to-hand combat as well. Like the one that stood out to me was Eve versus Daniel Bernhardt's character. I
Yeah.
love that scene. Can you talk a
You
little
know
bit
who
about
Daniel
that?
Bernhardt is straight off the bat, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people noticed, but because he was in John Wick 1 as well. And I was like, hey, is that his same character he brought back? Or of course he's playing his different character, but I know it's Daniel right away because
Yeah.
he's excellent. So can
Mhm.
speak about that the fight that he had with Anna.
Yeah, that whole series. I mean, it's fun to bring back like friends of the world of like 87, and Daniel's one of those big friends of the world, of that world. So that was a fun fight for us to do to be able to kind of, tie things in and bring in his face. I mean, Daniel's obviously he's 6'4" and well, 6'2", sorry. And I'm adding his height. I'm doing the WWE stats there. And then we had like Anna, who's 5'7". So it was very much like, okay, what do we do here? How do we make this work with a stronger, bigger guy fighting her? So again, it's found implements, and she's suddenly taken off guard because she thinks she's arrived in this village, which is just a normal village, right? And then all of a sudden she's fighting and getting attacked from all sides. So designing that fight was fun, and just seeing her get smacked, well, not getting smacked around, but putting her in that vulnerability, like, oh, we've seen her do all this cool stuff up until now, and she's kind of survived. Now, all of a sudden, she's in a perilous situation. So what we wanted to do with her character is put her in those vulnerable situations. So you're feeling for her character. You're making sure that, she's not this unstoppable kind of force. She has to fight her way, and she has to scrap her way, and she has to go back into that. The whole thing about being a ballerina and what it takes to be a ballerina is just pure grit and determination. You're going to be put in those situations where you just want to collapse and give up. But now you just got to fight through, and you got to find the determination. We see that, in the beginning sequence with Angelica Houston's character, where she's doing pirouettes and she collapses and she gets back up. She collapses, she gets back up. The whole thing about this is she gets smacked down, but she has to keep getting back up. She's built up that determination with her training.
And I really love it because she took a hell of a beating throughout the movie as well. As far she gave a lot of beating, but she took she took quite a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course we can't not talk about Keanu Reeves, right? He came back into for a little extended cameo for this movie. But how is it like working with Keanu on this film?
It was great. I mean, I was played a character in Wick 2 and 3, and I was the coordinator on 4. So I've worked with Keanu a fair bit. Are you hearing me okay? My internet's kind of playing up again on mine. I'm
Yeah.
staticky, but um you're hearing me okay? It was fantastic. Having Keanu come back and having him as part of it. He brings such a warmth and such a intensity to the role of John Wick. I think it was very cool as just in the training sequences to have Anna kind of see Keanu's process as well. And they had it was this very cool kind of handover, you know, passing of the torch thing to be in there training with them and to see that happen because Anna got to see how intensely and how Keanu goes about focusing on his training and going through that. So I think it was a lot of fun to be part of that process.
Yeah, yeah, I mean it's pretty cool to see that fight as well because it's like the rookie versus the veteran
Yeah,
in this assassin game.
absolutely. Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
excellent.
It was
Um,
very
do you have any? I mean, they greenlit John Wick 5. Are you a part of that coming up?
At the moment, I'm in Michigan. I just got back from 5 months in Saudi Arabia working on a job. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying some family time and everything like that. There's when they give me a call,
Uh,
and I'll uh, I'll take that call. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying some downtime. So we'll see what happens with that in the future.
Well, I'm crossing my fingers that you get on board because you did such an excellent job on this movie as
Thank you
well.
very
So
much, man.
yeah,
Thank you.
but yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I really can't wait to actually see this movie again, and can't wait for the audience to see it on June 6th as well. So
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it too.
all right, thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Dave.